friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name's Amanda. So in today's video, we're going to go back in time to the 1970s. I've got 3 really yummy, easy, and delicious recipes for y'all from the 1970s. I'm excited to share these with you. It was fun to do a little research and find some things that were popular. A couple things I had like when I was a kid. One of them was a completely new one for me. So yeah, we really enjoyed these. I'm excited to share them with y'all. Let me know down in the comments below, like if you have a favorite recipe, or really from any decade. It's more of a vintage food recipe. I'd love to hear it, because I'm kind of thinking about doing some more videos themed on like vintage type recipes. So y'all let me know what you think. But I'm excited to share these recipes with y'all. So let's go ahead and get into the video. So let's get started on the 7-layer salad. This was a popular recipe in the 70s. It also carried through till I say like I remember the 80s. So because I remember having it when I was a kid at like potluck at my dad's work. But it's super simple. There's just a little bit of kind of prep work to get done. And we're going to go ahead and slice our onions, which I later changed my mind and decided to dice them up. You'll see that in a minute. And then we're going to chop up our, I guess those are grape tomatoes, because I think cherry tomatoes are kind of more rounder. And salad is literally one of my favorite foods. I could eat it every single day, maybe actually multiple times a day, because it's literally, I just love it. But like I said, I started thinking I really wanted these chopped finer just so it was easier to, eat. I liked more chopped onions in my salads and stuff like that. And I'm also just going to use my egg slicer to kind of make quick work of, chopping up my I started to say onions again, but my eggs. And that's super easy to do in there as well. And this really, you can use all kinds of different vegetables. This is just kind of more, I feel like, well, it's a little more traditional, but I also did a little different spin on it. I'm not a big fan of peas, and I know that peas are a lot of times in 7-layer salad, so I actually ended up subbing edamame, and that was a great choice. It was delicious in here. And I just had some bacon I had already cooked, so I just chopped it up to put on. We're going to put that on top. And now we're making the dressing. So the dressing is just a cup of mayonnaise, 3/4 a cup of sour cream. The recipe actually called for sugar, but I don't love sweet dressing, so I did not put sugar in it. And it called for seasoned salt. I put just a little in there, and then I added some ranch powder, like my homemade ranch mix. And that was really good together. So that was a combination I really liked. You definitely could obviously put the sugar in there. It's probably a little bit more traditional, but I just made a couple of tweaks to this recipe to kind of make it more of our taste and everything. Now, to make it a little bit easier, I used the pre-bagged salad mix. I do still rinse mine because it just makes me feel better. But that made it super simple. I didn't have to, chop up lettuce or anything like that. So it did have like some cabbage and onions in it as well. So to me, hey, the more vegetables you can get in a salad, the better. So that was great for me. Now we're just going to go ahead and start layering this in our trifle bowl. I've got the lettuce going in, and then we'll just add all our veggies and the eggs and everything. You can do it in whatever order you want to do it in, but it just looks so pretty like in the clear bowl like that, where you can see like the layers. And once you get all your like veggies, your eggs and all that, then you're going to top that with the dressing, and then top that with shredded cheese and then some bacon. Now you can use whatever kind of cheese you like, whatever's your favorite. I used sharp cheddar, but all kinds of cheese would work. This would also be great to take to a gathering, like especially with the holidays coming up. This salad would be such a pretty presentation to bring, and a nice kind of more lighter, except for the dressing, kind of thing to go alongside some of the heavier foods for Thanksgiving and everything. Now, it actually tells you to refrigerate for at least 4 hours or overnight. I think that's kind of like more for the dressing aspect. I'll be honest with you, we ate this the night of, and y'all, it was delicious, and we demolished it. I mean, like, I cannot recommend making this enough. It is so delicious, and you could use whatever kind of toppings you want, change it up. It's so pretty. Definitely make this because it's absolutely delicious. We're going to definitely be making it again very soon. Now next up we have our Quiche Lorraine. So in the 1970s, Quiche Lorraine is really kind of what made quiche become more popular. And I actually had never had Quiche Lorraine. I love quiche, but I had never had this specific one. And it was so good, so I highly recommend it. I've just got like the refrigerated pie crust. I've put it in my pie dish, and then I'm going to bake it for 5 minutes at 450 degrees. I wasn't really sure how long to pre-bake it for. I don't usually pre-bake my crust because a lot of times I use the frozen ones, but that worked fine. So if you want to do that, that really worked well for us. I also just went around the pie crust and, put the holes in it with the fork just to try to keep it from, bubbling up anywhere. Now, after I got my onion chopped, we're going to take a little bit of the bacon grease. I'd actually cooked the bacon earlier, and so I used a little bit of the bacon grease to saute the onions. My preferred way to cook bacon is actually in the oven. It always turns out really well in there as long as you watch it carefully, because I will say one time I did burn some. So you definitely want to make sure you kind of keep a close eye on it. So we're just going to get our onions sauteed until they're golden. And just let me know down in the comments below if y'all have a food recipe that you really enjoy from the 70s, whether it be that you have memories of it from then, or maybe something you've tried or something like that. I definitely love to know what all y'all like to make from the 70s. But I've got my bacon here that I had already pre-cooked, and so I'm chopping that up. We've got 4 eggs in here along with some half and half. We're also going to add in some spices, some black pepper, paprika, and a little bit of nutmeg. Between the cheese this called for and the bacon, I felt like it really didn't need any salt, but obviously, if you like that, you could definitely add that to it. This was actually the first time I used this hand blender whisk attachment, and y'all got a little carried away with that mixture, so I think that I probably won't use it again, at least in a bowl like this. I probably need to do it in something else. I don't know. But it was getting everywhere, so I definitely need to do something different. Now I'm just adding in my cheese blend. This is a Gruyere and Swiss blend. Hopefully I said that right. But I think Gruyere is like kind of the classic choice, and so that's what I wanted to kind of go with on this. We're going to add in our bacon. And y'all, I can't believe it, but I almost forgot to add in the onions. So I get this all poured into my pie shell in just a second. And then all of a sudden I see the onions over on the stove. And I was like, I almost forgot. I'm so glad I noticed them, because that would have been so disappointing. I love especially sauteed onions, but I love onions period. But it was no big deal. Just stirred them in, and that worked out just fine. Now this is going to bake for about 50 minutes in a 350 degree oven. You just want to make sure the knife inserted into the middle comes out clean, but the center may still kind of jiggle. So I feel like quiche is the hardest thing to judge if it's done. I really do. Like, it's just one of those things that, because you do see that jiggliness to it, it's just, you just wonder, So, but y'all, this was amazing. I cannot recommend this enough. Great for breakfast, lunch, dinner, whenever you want to have it. It was perfect, and I will definitely be making it again. It had just so much good flavor to it. And I love quiche anyways, but I usually make a spinach, mushroom, and onion one. Oh my word, that's really good. And I guess I haven't really tried a whole lot of other ones. I did see like a chicken tortilla one or something. I'm very curious about that. I definitely need to try that. Y'all let me know if you have like a favorite quiche combination that you like. It's just something different, and I really enjoy it. So another vintage recipe coming up, punch bowl cake. This one was popular in the 70s. I feel like again in the 80s, because that's when I remember it from. But looking it up, it apparently was popular in the 70s. So I'm just getting my cake mix together here. You just make it by the box directions or however you might normally make your cake. And we're just going to get that in the oven and bake it. Once it comes out, you're going to want to let it cool so that you can cut it up into like little cubes. And then we're going to, because this is like layered in a trifle bowl or punch bowl or whatever you have to layer it in. I will say, in looking for a punch bowl cake recipe, there are a lot of different variations. So like if these, mixtures doesn't seem like it's your, favorite, definitely look out there. There's different combinations you can do. So we're just going to make up the pudding mixture. So I've got some vanilla pudding. It's the instant kind. And then some milk. And I'm going to mix that together. And then we'll let it sit so it can kind of finish thickening. This is definitely another one of those fun vintage recipes that would be great for holiday get-togethers. Anytime you got to bring a dish or that type of thing, it can be something you could actually, make ahead if you want to, because the recipe actually does say you can make it up to 8 hours in advance of serving it. Now, I will tell you, me personally, I tried it, of course, the night we made it right away, and then I also ate it left over, and I preferred it fresh. Like, I liked the way the cake retained its texture. Now, I will say, due to the size of my trifle bowl, I also didn't use the entire cake, so that could have kind of changed the kind of consistency, because technically there should have been more cake in there. Also, I had a couple family members that I knew wouldn't really like this, so I thought that would be a good opportunity to go ahead and save some for them, and so they could eat it a little differently. But I've got my cherry pie filling that I'm putting on here. You're going to use half the can now, and then we'll do half the can in a little bit. We've got some pineapple tidbits. I also think crushed pineapple would be pretty good, because I really like crushed pineapple a lot. Then we're going to add half of the mandarin oranges next. Y'all, I made a horrible mistake because I totally forgot to put the pudding. The pudding should come after the mandarin oranges, so you're going to see me in just a second. And I realized my mistake, and I actually had to pull out the cake cubes that I started to put in there so I could put the pudding mixture in there. So things like that happen all the time. We all mess up, and it's just one of those things. Thankfully, this is super easy to fix. I think my worst kitchen mistake, and it's been years ago, but I made pumpkin pie and I forgot the sugar. Like, how do you do that? How do you forget the sugar? But it was like, I can get really flustered very easy if there's a lot going on when I'm trying to cook. And so I don't know why. It's just always been the way I've been. And so I think there was like a bunch going on that day, and I just thought I put it in and I didn't. And oh my word, I was just like, I can't believe I did that. Thankfully, I haven't done that again, but that was probably the worst kitchen mistake I can think of. And we're just going to repeat these layers, and then at the top, we're going to top it with some Cool Whip. Because of my container size, I couldn't get the whole container of Cool Whip on here, but that's okay, because you can just keep it on the side, and you know, everybody can get more as they want it. And I thought it would be kind of fun to decorate it with the fruit that was, you know, in it, because it talked about nuts on top, but some of my family members don't love nuts, so I thought that, you know, again, that's something somebody could add easily on the side, and I felt like the fruit would be pretty, like, to be on top, so that's what I did. You could definitely do, you know, whichever you want to do. I also think, even though there's no coconut in this, I think that shredded coconut would be really pretty on top, maybe even like toast it, and I think that would be really decorative too. So you could definitely have a lot of fun with this, and, you know, put whatever you like in here. Thank y'all so much for joining me today. I hope y'all have enjoyed these 1970s vintage recipes. I sure enjoyed making them and sharing them with y'all. If you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you'd give me a thumbs up. Thank you so much for just sharing some of your day with me. I appreciate that. I hope y'all have a blessed day wherever you are, and I'll see you in the next one.